The fantastic thing about being an actor is that you kind of live vicariously through the roles that you play. And I've had so much fun. I've been a rock and roll singer, I've been a cowgirl, you know, Reggie in Night of the Comet, where I get to shoot people with a MAC-10. I remember going in and reading for it originally, and then the callback, I was set up with this girl, and we read together. I forget who it was, but at the callback, Kelly Maroney was set up with another girl to read as sisters. And so it was sort of a surprise when I learned that she was going to be my sister, and you know, and the other girl wasn't.
I said, could I audition for Reggie? Because I wanted to be the tough girl and I wanted to play a little older and stuff like that. Because I don't know, I didn't want to be goofy like that. And he said, no. I said, I can't even, no. And that was the end of that. And so I auditioned for it. I remember being so happy. For some reason, I came out of Raleigh Studios and I drove home and I felt extremely happy for no reason. Then I went back to New York, where I lived at the time. And eventually I got a call and they said, they want to know where you are, you got the movie. And no one had told me I got it or anything. I said, well, I'm home in New York. And so I had to get on a plane and beat feet out here to California.
Attention, shoppers. I trust you've got credit cards to pay for all that stuff.
What I really loved about it was the fact that the characters that drove the script were female, which is kind of unusual. And plus, I really identified with Regina as kind of that tomboy, bullheaded kind of, you know, determined young woman. I loved that.
Tom showed me the movie, he told me to watch My Man Godfrey. So I was playing, I was doing, like he said, be yourself, but this is the idea. So I took as inspiration Carol Lombard in My Man Godfrey, who's the little sister who's highly dramatic. I'm just the person who is so eager for life, you know, and I have this big sister that, you know, I'm kind of competitive with in a way, but she's just so awesome that, you know, I don't ever feel like I measure up.
Why are you so weirded out? Oh, right, Reg. Why should I be weirded out? My sister, who swiped every guy I ever had my eye on, has now swiped the last guy in the whole freaked out world.
Well, I'm also the one, too, that's in complete denial. I felt like we knew each other. First scene was the scene where she comes home and I'm getting ready for pep squad practice.
God, what are you trying to do? Give me a heart attack? I thought you were Doris.
That was our very first day. And we just fell into it. And it was like I always knew her.
We had a lot of fun together. We became really, really good friends. We became like sisters on the show. And I think that kind of shows. I think the relationship shows in the movie. So I have nothing but good memories, and we stayed friends afterwards. It wasn't a huge budget, and I was going through this learning curve as I was doing it. So there was a lot of pressure, and I found it quite intense. But then again, doing a soap opera where you shoot an hour episode every day, that is craziness. In fact, shooting something like Night of the Comet is so much easier than shooting a soap opera. That was probably, in terms of acting, the hardest work I've ever done.
That was the best thing I had going for me, was that I had all that soap opera training, which you don't ever stop tape. The wall can come down. Anything, you do not stop tape, they get really mad at you and you get fired for that. So, and Kathy also was on daytime. So that's all we knew, is get in there, be prepared, and do your thing. And if we got 2 takes, we thought, we get 2 takes? We get 2 chances at this? Because we weren't even used to having one, you know, barely one.
It was kind of like we were all in it together, you know, kind of guerrilla filmmaking. So if things went wrong, it was almost like, well, you know, well, of course things are going to go wrong. Nobody really expected it to be like a big budget feature film, and you have to go into these things with that attitude. You know, one day the makeup guy didn't show up, so we were just like, okay, we'll do our own makeup, you know.
We broke for lunch and we were downtown, and I had a bathrobe on and my rollers, and I think I had a baseball cap on top of my, you know, I looked insane. And sure enough, the homeless people thought that our lunch truck was a homeless truck, and they got in line with us. And I thought, yeah, exactly, because look at us.
Wait till Daddy hears about that.
You know how he's always telling me to be careful with my mouth on account of the dental plan doesn't cover anything cosmetic.
Tom was like our dad. There's a scene in our living room, and there's me as a little girl and Kathy's a little girl, and then there's the Green Beret guy. That's Tom. He put the hat on and stuff to take the picture. And he always looked out for us, and I think I got a lot of the performance that he wanted me through osmosis just by hanging around him.
Tom is brilliant. He wrote the script. I loved it. At a certain point, the producers were trying to decide whether they wanted it to be a serious horror movie or as written, which was much more tongue-in-cheek and so much more intelligent in many ways and fun. And fortunately, the end product stuck closer to the original script, which was wonderful. I think he's a brilliant writer.
Are you pregnant?
Nope. Thought I was once, though.
That's not important.
That's what you think. That's the longest 3 weeks of my life.
The challenge was, you're reading the script and you're laughing. I was laughing out loud on the plane. And it's, then it became, how do you keep the humor and yet make it, keep the reality of the scene, too. I don't think anybody ever, when had decided to go, like, just for humor. We always played that like it was really happening.
There was a little bit of improvisation. Tom was really open to all that stuff. We pretty much stuck to the script, but there were times where, for instance, when we were shooting at a car.
Here.
We were supposed to get Uzis, and we got Mach 10s. And Tom was so frustrated, everybody's kind of frustrated because they jammed. And so we were blowing takes.
Great.
It was ridiculous. And so finally Tom walks up to me and he says, if it happens again, we're not going to stop. I just want you to just be disgusted and go,
See, this is the problem with these things.
Daddy would have gotten us Uzis.
And I look at the car and I said, well, the car didn't know the difference. That was all kind of improvised. But, for the most part, we stuck to the script. But they were definitely open to it. I think they allowed us to develop our characters and the characters' relationships as organic.